Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am Mad Capper and this is another video on Raid Shadow Legends, and today I want to showcase a champion by the name of LUA. This is a do not sleep on this champion. A lot of people may have pulled someone like a LUA during the last two-time Void event. We know that 1% Void to get a legendary is not a huge number, and there were some big, I myself pulled 88 shards. There were some big numbers being pulled and not a lot of LEGO champions coming as a result. Now, the good thing about Void Shards, or at least the silver lining, is that a 16% chance to get an epic. There are not a whole lot of epics, so you can fill out your roster with some really good epic champions, and one of those champions is LUA. I myself pulled her about a week and a half ago. It was right before actually the Artifact Enhancement event, because I remember getting some really good speed rolls on her. And let's take a look at her, and I'll show you why I have really warmed up to her as a champion, and I do not regret 6-starring her. She is fun to play. First of all, she looks cool. I like her look. She isn't a mean girl. She's not an overexcited. She's not a spaz. She looks like someone who's sitting there drinking a latte. Someone motions, she comes into the arena, she murders you without cracking any sort of emotion, and then she goes back and finishes her coffee. She's indifferent about the fact that she just murdered you. That's what she looks like to me, and I like it. I like it a lot. I might need to see my psychiatrist about it, but that's a different video altogether. I like the gold fleck, the paint, just the look and style of her. I think she's one of the cooler looking champs. Maybe it's just me. I know she has a very similar style, but I think the gold inflection and just the way her face paint and stuff makes her unique enough that I like I said, I like what she's got going on. As far as her skills, she's got Splinter Arrow. Splinter Arrow hits one enemy, and if it hits critical, it deals 50% of the inflicted damage to all other enemies. Now, keep in mind, I read this wrong the first time. It's not quite as OP as I thought it was. When I first read it, I thought she was going to hit 50% of the first hit on everyone, but it's combined. So if she hits, say, 10k with her first hit, that means she's going to hit 5k split amongst the remaining enemies. So it is not quite, it's not like she can hit for 25k with a crit and everyone else is taking 12.5. Keeping also in mind that those values are raw values. Obviously, high defense champions are going to reduce some of that incoming damage after the split, not before the split. It's something to keep in mind. But it is still a pretty cool A1, being that it is an A1 and that it's just, it does pretty good damage. She hits fairly strong for an A1, and then she's just doing a little extra damage. Everything helps in a fight, like for example the arena. Hail of Arrows, this is the one that does all the damage. It attacks all enemy 3 times. Each critical hit heals this champion by 2.5% HP. The heal is a nice addition. It keeps her alive and survivable in things like faction wars, and if you're using her in dungeon runs. I've got a little sneak peek in a little bit. We're going to show you a Fire Knight run with her that actually absolutely shocked me. I didn't think she was going to be good, and she actually helped me post one of my best times ever. So this A2 is going to hit all champions. Now, what I've noticed is it hits about the same as the A1. The difference is it's hitting that 3 times on each champion. So if she's hitting around 18, 19k on average, she's hitting that 3 times. 60k takes down most people in the arena, definitely attack-based champions, and for everyone else it's doing a lot of supplementary damage so that your final nuker in the strat I like to play, or that she can finish people off if she's the slowest on your team. Her A3 is, if it wasn't enough, the other stuff, if you have and you're up against a champion that has a huge shield or has a block damage buff, guess what? She ignores it. So she's going to do full damage with this and completely ignore any shields, any block damage. So you've got shield set on, you've got someone like a Warlord or a Valkyrie on the team. Who cares? She's going to hit hard with her A3. She's going to hit for about 50 to 60k depending on the champion, and she's going to ignore that shield. And block damage buffs, which I'm guessing is like your Rosh card, the tower. He comes in, he's like, oh, I'm immortal. She goes, I don't care, and she kills him. So absolutely cool A3. A2 is what you're typically going to use to take down the enemy teams, but the A3 is a nice addition to have for those pesky champions that you don't know how to deal with. As far as her artifacts and what I overall got, I got 28k. She has a glass cannon. Would I like to have more health? Yes, but she's such a low health modifier at 14.5 that you're probably not going to see much more health and still maintaining the high damage output. But if you've got that end game gear and you can put it on her, go ahead, right? Yeet. You know, you only live once. Her attack at 4391, I want to push that to 5, but definitely this makes her hit very hard. Defense of 1470 is just a tiny bit of survivability, something to last against those counterattack champions, or against a champion like Skullcrown who has the mastery of counterattack. Lets her get to her turn. 101% crit rate. This is an absolute must. You need to have that crit rate, as we talked about. 2 of her skills require that crit rate for the full kit to be realized, so make sure you get 100% crit. The good, because she is void, she will not weak hit, which means if she's got 100% crit, she's always going to crit. Mine is, of course, a crit rate reduction, which is a new thing that we will be starting to see in this game. Crit damage 250 is kind of the minimum I like starting my champs at when I'm actually going to use them, so she's above that threshold. Would like her to get further. 131 debuff accuracy, not good enough for dungeons. You're going to want to push that to 185. I could switch her out of her attack banner into a accuracy banner. I'll show you why I don't. And for arena, 131, look, if you're fighting people in gold 4, they're not going to have a whole lot of resist, so it doesn't really matter. You're going to get that turn meter reduction, and that's not really what you're using her A3 for anyway. But more importantly, if you're fighting higher platinum arena, 200 accuracy isn't going to do it. You're going to need 400 or 500 accuracy, and are you going to waste that many stats on accuracy for a champion who is here primarily to deal damage? So if you're using her in dungeons, get her to around 200. Otherwise, don't bother worrying too much about that accuracy. Anything over 100 will probably be enough to hit that turn meter when you need it the most. And here's why I'm not using an accuracy banner on her. It is a 6-star legendary attack banner that I quad rolled speed. It is my first quad roll in speed. Yes, yeet, go me. I, of course, rolled it the day before the artifact enhancement event. I was getting mocked in Discord a bit for that, but I don't care because that's what I did. And then right after, I said, you know what? I'm going to double down on this game. And I did a triple roll crit rate on her 6-star speed boot. So, you know what? Good things happen to good people. That's all I got to say. So there's her kit. Let's take her into a couple different areas. The first place you're going to see her is in the campaign. We'll take her into a dungeon, like I said, sneak peek. I took her into the Fire Knight dungeon, and she performed rather admirably, I might say. And then we'll push her into the arena and get some good arena shots for you. So take a look at the video coming right about. Fade to black, come in now. So the first place we were going to show her is in the campaign. Now, a campaign isn't exactly where Lua is known for, but honestly, she does a more than admirable job. You do have your 6 and 7 second farmers out there, a 9-second farmer, and she is not going to eclipse that, but what she is going to do is between 20 and 30 seconds. And if you're building her out for the arena and you don't have to change it for this, why not use her if you need that kind of damage and you're thinking otherwise? Now, this is an annoying little piece. I wish they'd get rid of that. But what you're going to see here, she's pretty decent. She hits for like 67k. That's her A3. She's going to follow up with the A2, and boom, they are all dead. It's all over the crying. Boom, that's her A1 for 28k. A pretty strong A1. And that was her A1 again, and then the A3. And then finally, boom, 64.7. Now because she isn't hitting that 192 threshold, she is not going twice to their 1. That is one thing that if you were going to use her for a farmer, push that speed higher, closer to 200. She's going to go twice, and this speed, 28 this time, will definitely get down to a much lower, significantly lower, probably 20 seconds, maybe even breaking that 20-second threshold. Just quickly before I speed up this event, I wasn't sure how this was going to go. That is a fragile team. Look at the team there. That is a Cold Heart, a LUA, both attack-based champion, a lure attack-based, 2 supports. No one's really tanky, so I wasn't sure how this was going to go. I don't have a sub 3-minute team at the start of this run. I think my best was a 320. I did have a couple lower manual, so even manual, I think I was around 3 minutes. So I'll speed it up and let's take a look at what happens in this exciting little random Fire Knight run. All right, it's time where she excels the most. Lua in the arena is where she's going to do her biggest and most damage here. Here's a typical example team that I have. I see a speed on their team. He's got a speed boost, so what are we going to do? Let's bring in 4 Void Champions. Arbiter to turn meter boost. The reason I brought in Sylar, I wanted to make sure that Lua was the only damage dealer. A lot of the times I use 2, but here you go. We're going to do the typical turn meter boost, debuff, and then you know, the defense down, and then here's her A2. God, I mean, that's a pretty big team. There's got some good beefy champions there. No big deal. Done. You see those numbers, 19, 28, 23. That is per hit 3 times. That is 60k per champion. Obviously, the champions couldn't survive that. That's a perfect example of the kind of damage that Lua can do. You've seen her gear. You can only get better gear. So we're going to take it to a second fight here. I believe the second fight I go up against a Tormund because I'm crazy. Yeah, so this is the Tormund fight. I think, you know what I normally do against Tormund is I usually put in a speed lead like a Skull Crown. So I have both someone who has the chance to go twice even with low health, high attack, high damage, and has that counterattack ability in case she gets hit really hard. And it still has a speed lead, so most often I get to go first. And then I still like having the turn meter reduction. I usually take Madame Saris out, although I was a little bit worried about Crimson Helm and debuffing anything he might put up for a second round. So I decided to keep her in and gamble. Madame Saris can freeze herself, but in this particular case, I've got the speed down. She doesn't get frozen, so there she goes. The big damage, and then it's cleanup time. Now I wanted to show you her A3 because the A2 was there, and 45k. If there was a block damage or a shield there, it would still do the 45k because it ignores it. So just a second example of what her kit can do. 45k is nothing to shrug off on a defensive-based champion in the arena. The higher I can go, and then there you go again. She is actually, I gotta tell you, Doom Priest is a tanky ass bitch. There, she takes it and says like, give me some more. But at the end of the day, at this point, it's all over but the crying. Their damage is gone, and it's just a matter of whittling down the team. So Lua can absolutely help you in the arena. Is she the best arena champion? No, but she's part of an arsenal, and I talk about it in every one of my arena videos. You always want an arsenal of different champs with slightly different abilities so you can counter what's going on against you as often as possible. If you put together as many champions that have these unique abilities, these slightly different nuances, you know, I could bring in an Ethos, I could bring in a Lua, I can bring in an Excruciator. All of them have different reasons, different applications. The net result is the opportunity to win. That's all about it I got for this video. I do a couple more fights, but it's just the same thing. So rather than putting you through that pain, we're going to end the video here. I want to thank you. Please give me a like, subscribe, share it with your friends. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments down below. Other than that, have a good night. Keep your stick on the ice. Don't eat yellow snow. Thanks for joining me, and be kind to one another.